Hey everyone, Lisa here, your wellness and well-being coach. And on this tip, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that we might not relate to health and wellness and well-being, or maybe we can, but it's about telling lies. Remember when we were kids and our mom and dads used to say, don't tell a lie, or they would wash our mouth out with soap. I'm not sure if any of you remember that. Maybe I'm dating myself. Um, but, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and it does actually affect our health and our well-being in a spiritual way. Also, it does affect our friendships and our relationships. And, I thought about a lot of people lately kind of justifying exaggerations and little white lies and things like that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it because I had some thoughts surrounding it. And, I thought, hey, let me just share this because it's on my mind. And of course, like I said, it does have something to do with well-being if you think about it. And I want us all to be well in many ways. And that's what a well-being awakening is over at lisampepe.com. So basically, I read a quote that said, a wise person once said, a society built on lies has a weak foundation. And I can honestly start to see the cracks in, things going on nowadays and everything we've known. And quite frankly, the foundation of relationships and different organizations and companies, corporations, it all seems to be breaking down a little bit because the more someone exaggerates or tells a little white lie to cover something up, or I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't like to go there in these videos, but the more that somebody tells something that's basically mostly their opinion or how they feel, or in order to coax or move somebody in a certain direction, the more I think it erodes away at our well-being as a society, as a world, and we can go country by country, but here in the US, I think it has definitely eroded our relationships and in turn our well-being. So I thought a little bit about, like, why do we lie, and why do we justify lies? And you can say that's harsh, but I'm talking about even white lies and exaggerations when I say lie. And it's human tendency. So we do tend to do that a little bit in stories. We embellish. But you have to really draw the line, right? Because when I made the list of why we lie, I came up with a few things. I'm sure you can come up with many on your own, but some of the things that I came up with, and I've got the list right here, is we lie possibly to get something we want, right? Maybe we lie to reinforce a belief. Those are tough ones. I'll talk about that later. Maybe we tell a little lie to persuade others, to defend our point of view, right? To protect something or someone. We might tell a little white lie or a little exaggeration. We also can tell a lie to create an illusion, to make things go a certain way, perhaps. Maybe we tell a lie to cover something up. It might be something small or something big, and kids do it a little bit and adults do it a little bit. So like I said, it's part of human nature, and I just was kind of intrigued by it. So that's why I'm discussing it with y'all here on this tip video. We might tell a lie to coerce or force someone to do something, but also to justify our own actions. So just think about it. We might also lie to prove or make a point, maybe to make others look wrong or incorrect about something. We might embellish something or exaggerate something on our side to make them look wrong. We might lie to get out of doing something, okay? Little white lies, haha, we've done them. I've done them. We've all done it, right? Maybe to embellish a story, or to make something like kind of sound better than it is or worse than it is. maybe we tell lies to avoid certain circumstances. And actually, the list goes on and on, because I'm sure you can think of a few reasons we lie or tell white lies or exaggerations. And I won't bore you with more of my list. That's it. That's all I came up with for now. But you get the hint. And I don't think this is good for anyone, because, you might be saying, well, they're lying. Or on the other side, somebody might be saying, well, they're telling the truth and that other person's lying. And I don't actually think that comes down to that, because what I think is, we've got a lot of opinions flying around at all times. We've got a lot of personalities, when you're in relationships with people, you might have to, kind of, let's say, if you want to agree on something, you have to make your side of the story sound really, really good, right? Especially if you want it to go your way. And I can see a little bit, I can almost justify doing it at times, but I really think it still erodes away at our foundations and our relationships. And for some reason, lying appears to be deeply ingrained in human nature, and it also seems to be really widely accepted in society. And it's funny how many people say, oh, well, they're probably lying, but they don't think anything of it. And they don't even go research anything on their own. They don't even care to look at anything, but they can call somebody a liar. And whether that's true or not, it seems to be just the general consensus, right? Or something we throw around a lot. There's a lot of lying, as we know, or storytelling or exaggeration in politics, obviously. And we still believe them sometimes, right? I don't. I'm not political. I'm an independent, unaffiliated. And as you hear me say, I step back and stay sovereign and look at what's good for me, my health, my family, and what I need to do. I suggest you do the same. And anything anybody says, you might want to look it up. And don't just look it up on Google. You got to go direct to the websites or direct to the actual sources, the source sites, not an article. No news articles, because that's the next area that we seem to find a lot of lies in is, the news organizations. They're famous for doing it. They're famous for putting out headlines that aren't 100% true. And then you get in and you read the article and you find out that they kind of twisted it and made it sound like it was what the headline said, but the actual article says something completely different. There's also a lot of lying with media outlets of all kinds. It doesn't matter if you're online. And, I had somebody post on one of my posts one time saying, when I was calling news organizations kind of, fibbers, white liars, whatever it was. And I was saying, hey, don't pay attention to them, kind of go do your own research. And I had them say, oh, so we should just believe everything on social media. And I said, I didn't even imply that. I did not even imply that. As a matter of fact, now that we're on the subject, no, you should not, because that's just another media outlet. And, a lot of people online, including myself, we have opinions about things. And I always say, and I'm going to say it right now, anything you hear in this video is my opinion. And it's also from things that I research. And you do not take this as any form of medical advice. I don't want you to take this as any form of any cure or treatment for any condition you may or may not have. So let me say that. But you might want to go research something that I bring up and say, oh yeah, Lisa said this, let me go look that up. And I want you to. I want you to research it. So, anything you hear, through even companies and organizations, how long have we known that marketing is out there to persuade you or persuade us or coax us into something, into buying something, into joining something? Come on, you think they don't have this down pat? How many times do I say it in my video? So, but I think the lies in all of these areas, politics, companies, news organizations, media outlets, and many other places these days, can really do harm, because I think once a lie is out there, no matter how big or small it is, it's very difficult to remove, even if it's retracted. And there have been many, many, many headlines and stories that have been retracted over the past couple of years out of the news outlets, and you don't get to see the retraction. So people will see one story and they'll be running around as if though that story is true, telling everybody. And then a week or two later, they actually retracted the story. and nobody sees the retraction. So be very careful about that. Now, I'm not saying that it's 100% a lie all the time, but you really have to discern these days because, you just don't want to be running around telling lies. And, like I said, white lies, exaggerations, they're going to happen, but I don't recommend them if you can avoid them, if you can avoid hearing them, or if you can avoid telling them, right? I mean, we've all lied at one time or another in our lifetime. And like I said, but some people, they kind of do it all the time and they kind of think it's normal. And that is not really good because, most of us were told not to lie as children. But a lot of adults, we learn to navigate through life kind of lying, telling little white lies. And like I said, I feel it can be very harmful to our own psyche and as well as our relationships. So I would say avoid at all costs or as much as you can, please. Because even a so-called white lie is still, even though it seems kind of trivial, it still can do harm because the definition of a white lie is, let's see here, I wrote this down. It's a trivial, diplomatic, or well-intentioned untruth. Well, well-intentioned or not, it's still a lie. And it can affect other people and it can affect them negatively. You just don't understand how what you say can have an impact on someone, And yes, I know husbands and wives might be thinking, well, I had to tell a little white lie because, I didn't want to do this or that. Okay, that's something you have to work out in your own relationship. But I'm just telling you to watch out for them. And basically between couples, if it's a small little lie, yeah, we know I'm going to tell you, you look great in that dress, even if it's not perfect. But as far as the big lies, you want to really watch out for them because the little lies can lead to the big lies, right? And like I said, it's not very healthy to be lying or be caught up in lies all the time. So also, one of the things it says is that white lies are also known as lies that are intended to produce a favorable result. Well, a favorable result for who? Your favorable result might not be favorable to somebody else, right? So think about that the next time you want to tell a little white lie, okay? Also, white lies are known as deliberate untruth statements that do no harm. I disagree with that. All lies can do harm in some way, no matter what the person doing the lying believes, because at the very least, it can cause people to lose trust in the liar, right? And that's not good for any of our relationships, which is not good for our well-being, which in turn is not good for our health, right? So I'm going to relate it all back to, my little niche in the world about health and wellness. White lies just seem to be more and more accepted. I also was looking it up and I'm saying, wait a minute, like I said, a white lie is still a lie, especially if you twist something. It can really affect people's mental and physical health and the health of others. I mean, it's just not highly recommended by me. And you can make that decision for yourself. I mean, morally, using my moral compass, I try not to lie about big things. And, having an opinion and making a mistake and saying something that turns out to be untrue is one thing. But if you're intentionally telling a lie, that's another one. Because I think there's just been way too many lies told to us all over the years. And I know sometimes parents lie to kids for certain reasons and things like that. And like I said, it's human nature. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying to be more careful and more aware when you're doing it, and maybe try to word it a little bit differently so it's not really just an outright lie. Because when the person finds out that you've been lying, they're not going to trust you anymore. And that's also human nature, right? I see people all over the place exaggerating, but especially in the news, and they rarely apologize, even if they're proven wrong. So you also have to watch that because it's craziness out there right now, and you have to be very, very careful. And I think, a lot of times when people are trying to tell a story or they're telling something, I think the better thing to do would be to say like, oh, in my opinion, or, this is a possibility. But usually, especially on the news and media outlets, they say things without showing like real proof. And like when I say something, I really, I'm telling you, this is my opinion about all of this. Or if I say something that has a link to, an actual website and an actual, medical journal study or something like that, I always try to do that to show you where I got my information from. I'm telling you this information today is kind of my opinion, my thoughts around lying. So at least you know that, right? I'm not 100% right. You take from it what you want, and whatever you don't want, just leave it, but like I said, if you're gonna say things and you're gonna act like they're total truths, and you're going to try to make everybody do something according to what you're saying, you really need to provide real proof. And I'm sorry, but nowadays, just a picture, an image, or a video doesn't always do it, because they can be doctored up a little bit, especially with the new CGI that's coming out. But even with Photoshop, even though we can usually tell when they're doctored up that way, but some people can't. So, if you're intentionally doing this to lead people down a certain path, then I find that wrong. I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good for society. I don't think it's good for individuals. I don't think it's good for anyone. So basically, you want to always discern for yourself what somebody's saying. And like I said, do your own research. Okay. Never just believe anything. Ask questions, look up documents, and act on actual websites, not articles, not news articles, not more news articles. Go to the website, go to the medical journal, go to the actual page or whatever book or whatever it is that will cite, the actual links to places that are, where the information came from. And I say it's better to say, I don't know something, or I'm not sure, or I'll look that up, than to tell a lie. Because I've also been in conversations with people that actually tell a lie to justify their story or position on something. And that's not good, because you won't be trusted after that. And it's hard, at least say in my opinion, it's my opinion, or, it's my advice, or, my view, whatever. So at least if it turns out not to be true, you're not called a liar, right? And I always think it's better to say, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you on that if you're not sure. Because it's really easy, like, to tell if someone's lying kind of by doing your own due diligence or looking something up. And I'm not talking about going to the news. I don't know how many people have told me, well, that's not true because I heard this on whatever news site. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Just go look it up. I'm not sure that person that you're talking about has all the information. They probably don't. Nobody does. So, and it's forever changing, right? It's like, you never know. So what's true today might not be true tomorrow, and so on and so forth. So be very, very discerning again, because sometimes you'll be in a conversation with somebody and they'll actually get angry and defend something that may or may not be true, or a little lie that they told. They'll start defending it, and you'll be showing them something and saying, no, look, this is what I found here. And they won't even look at it. And that's not healthy either. So if you do find yourself taking a defensive stance in conversations, that's okay to be a little defensive, but you better have the proof and the documentation to back it up. And also, the other person might not be entirely telling a lie or entirely wrong or incorrect, but hopefully you can both meet in the middle, especially if it's just between two people. If it's between a group of people, or like I said, somebody's standing up there leading a group of people and telling them a bunch of lies, well, then we've got to do our best to nip that in the bud, literally. Okay. So like, just be more open. The inability to listen to or look at like any additional information is very detrimental to all people involved. We need to have open discussion about things, especially when it comes to health and wellness. And, I am a firm believer in, doing what's best for me and my body, because, what's good for me might not be good for someone else. And what's good for someone else, might not be good for me. It's all over the board. How many times have we been told this is the greatest thing ever? And then we take the advice, we try it, and it totally doesn't do well for us, right? So who knows? What's true for someone else might not be true for you. So you got to really, like I said, do your own due diligence and your own research. You want to try to just be, like I said, just a little more open and really scrutinize stuff. And if evidence is presented, then hey, you say, oh, I'm open to that. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Come on, like, let's loosen up a little bit here. But let's also say, that one person or that news outlet, they don't have the entire truth. Nobody does. So, for somebody to say, hey, I am the only truth, I'm the only one, that knows the truth, someone here on earth, not talking about up there, but someone here on earth says that, then you better be a little leery. And like I said, if somebody starts to get really defensive over something that, may not be true, it's hard to break down those barriers, because that goes really deep into belief systems, and that's another whole challenge. But if you want help with that, just go on over to lisaandpepe.com and feel free to join my monthly membership, the Wellness Awakening Wisdom Circle. And also, you can get over there and get some freebies on my homepage or sign up for my email list. So, and if you want some help with that, there's also a coaching page over there where you can sign up for some coaching sessions. I'd be happy to help you discern from lies and truth, and how to do that. Another thing I like to do is I like to tell everybody, use your intuition. You hear that a lot. Sometimes you'll have this feeling, somebody will say something and you might be like, it's easier just to go along with it. But in your gut somewhere, it's either not 100% accurate or true, or it's not true for you, or it's not the best thing for you. So you have to really use your intuition a lot. And I like to teach that. I teach that in everything, to really tune in and really pick up on those signals that you're getting from your own body, so you can discern what's true for you and follow your own compass. I always say that, please. So if you ever have any doubt about something, just always do your intuitive investigating, and don't hold on so tightly to things that can change, because things are always in flux here. Energy is always in flux. Things are always changing, and we just don't know, for sure on certain things. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to be a little unsure and admit that. You don't have to tell a lie just to, to sound, I guess, strong and whole and like, what's going on. If you don't know, you don't know. Hey, we don't know everything. I don't know everything. So I hope you enjoyed this wellness and well-being tip. Join me, like I said, every Wednesday. It's mostly for the ladies. I do have a few men that join on, but every Wednesday I do the Wellness and Well-Being Wisdom Circle on Zoom, and I teach people to hone in on their intuition, and I do well-being readings, and I try to help everybody through their difficult times. And it is a group coaching session, and you can come on and you can keep your video off if you prefer, and just listen in. But it is a monthly membership over at lisaandpepe.com, and you'll see it up in the top tab. So until the next tip, I hope that you will cut back on your white lying and try to discern truth for yourself and for your family and friends. And don't believe everything you hear. Make sure you're doing your own research. And, you can exaggerate things a little bit, but let's not be bold, outright liars. There's enough of that in this world. And I think we need to bring truth back to a lot of different agencies that we have, whether it's government agencies, news agencies, companies, organizations. And I really think we need to start holding people a little more accountable for the little stretch that they do to make sure they really do retract it in a way that everybody knows it was retracted, or at least they try to be more truthful in their headlines. But that's going to be up to us right now to discern. So, hey, good luck with it, and I hope this helped. All right, until next time, bye-bye. It was great sharing my opinion on justifying lying with you. Don't forget to visit lisaandpepe.com. Bye-bye.